A full recap of this weekend's actions, plus Deontay Wilder. Does he deserve a 60-40 split in his favor in an AJ fight? We get to all that next. Please like and subscribe. Help us hit 10,000 subscribers. Leave a comment. Let us know what you think. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome to Sunday Morning Champion. Lots to get into today. More Eddie Hearn, Deontay Wilder versus Anthony Joshua drama. But let's first recap the loaded weekend of pugilism we had this past weekend. Absolutely a loaded weekend. I want to start first with Tevin Farmer. A big shout out to my guy Tevin Farmer, who is quickly becoming one of my favorite fighters and Philly's favorite son. He absolutely dominated a very game, James Tennyson, who was coming off the best win of his career, a career-defining win on the David Haye, Tony Bellew rematch undercard. He beat Martin Joseph Ward, stopped him in the 5th round, I believe. Farmer absolutely came out and dominated Tennyson. An amazingly impressive performance. Dominating the Northern Ireland native and landing body shots like Errol Spence Jr. I mean, thudding body shots. And also showing off that blazing hand speed and defensive genius that we've all grown accustomed to with Tevin. This is Tevin's 27th win. He's 27-4-1 with one no contest. It's just his 6th stoppage victory. So very impressive. Farmer, obviously not known for having punching power, really sat down well on his body punches and put together a body attack that would make Errol Spence proud. Farmer then said that he was the best fighter in the world. He acknowledged he hadn't proven it yet, but he said, watch. I love that. I love it, love it, love it. That confidence. And then he called out Tank Davis. And that's a fight that has to be made. This would be a great fight. Farmer and Tank Davis have a history. A lot of trash talking between the two. This would be a great fight. Plus, they're both from the East Coast. Tevin's from Philly and Gervonta's from Baltimore. Let's put this in the Garden on December 15th. I don't know if you guys are aware of this, but Tevin Farmer has a date booked in December on the Canelo Fielding undercard at Madison Square Garden. So he already has the date booked. He's scheduled. If you look at his box rec, if you look at the zone, he is scheduled to fight December 15th on that undercard. He just needs an opponent. Now, Tank Davis, obviously, having some promotional issues with Floyd Mayweather and the money team, Mayweather Promotions. So, I don't know where exactly that is. I know Tank Davis said that he wanted to fight with Farmer. He said he either wants to fight Farmer or move up to 135. And you look at Tank, you figure that move up to 135 is going to come sooner rather than later. So before he jumps out of the super featherweight division and goes to lightweight, he needs to make this fight. I mean, for real, they need to make this fight. I would lean towards Tank, but I think Tank is a special fighter. But I mean, Tevin is really, really looking impressive in his last few fights. Also, staying on the East Coast, Demetrius Andrade and the headliner became a 2-division world champ, adding a middleweight WBO middleweight title and taking a 120-104 decision on 2 of the 3 scorecards over, and I'm never going to get this name right, Walter Kanadankwa. Is that Kanadankwa took the fight on 2 weeks' notice and had to fly halfway across the world to take this fight. Look, I do want to see Kanadankwa. I'm just going to call him Walter. I do want to see Walter again. His toughness was something to behold. I mean, he's massively tall. He's obviously rangy. He looked like he had good snap on his punches. But I do want to see him again. On an undercard somewhere, I want to see Walter again. Look, and people are going to say different things about Andre's performance. And I get that. You may have loved it. You may have thought it was lackluster. You may have thought he fought an absolute nobody. We don't know about the level of his opponent yet. Look, Andre dominated every second of that fight, scoring 3 knockdowns. And then starting from about round 7 on, hit cruise control and easily outbox the challenger and capture the WBO belt. Andrade is going to be a real tough out at 160. I was worried, like I said, he was going to be a little small for 160. I never thought he was big for 154, not compared to the other 54 pounders, like Jermell Charlo, like Trout even, and of course the other two, Munguia and Hurd, are just absolute monsters at that size. But he's going to be a tough out for 160. He looked like a nice sized middleweight, not a giant middleweight, but he didn't look small for the division. I think he's going to be okay. I picked him to beat Canelo. I do. I said I'd get back to you guys on that where I thought I wanted to see him. I do want to see him again. I think he will fight Billy Joe next. I still don't know where I lean in that fight, but I would pick Andrade to beat Canelo and or Danny Jacobs should he get one of those fights. Those guys are all on the Eddie Hearn side of things, or the zone side of things. That side of the pond, which Andrade is too. So those fights can be made. Will they be made next? I don't know. I don't know what the zone. I don't know what Eddie Hearn wants to do. I think this fight with Billy Joe is going to get made. I think Canelo will fight Jacobs next, and Charlo's going to be left out. And I'm serious about this thing about Charlo being frozen out. And I want you guys to know, you heard it first. I think this is a real possibility. But let's get back to Andrade. Let's get back to the good news. Because Andrade put on a great performance. His awkward lefty style and his beautiful boxing skills is going to make him a handful for anyone to fight. And he showed pop. He got 3 knockdowns. Look, Steve Wills wanted to stop that fight. He was looking for any reason. He just couldn't believe the resiliency that Walter showed. It was really something to behold. Now, look, tough guys like Freddie Roach said about Chris Algieri. Tough guys don't win fights, right? Just because you can take a beating doesn't mean you're going to win a fight, right? And I don't know where he stands. I'd like to see him fight again. This is not a fair place to judge. I'm going to try to say his name one more time. Walter Kanadakwa. But I'd like to see him again. And I want to see Andrade against a top-level opponent at 160. I do think we'll get to see Billy Joe next, which is a fight that I was really into this fight in Boston. It was supposed to happen last night with Billy Joe. Fortunately, Billy Joe got popped for cheating. So, what are you going to do? In not such scintillating news, Emmanuel Rodriguez, his fight with Jason Maloney is part of the World Boxing Super Series Bantamweight tournament, which is, on paper at least, going to be the best tournament they've had, right? The talent level in that, the amount of talent in that tournament, in the Bantamweight division is crazy. The Bantamweight division, 118-pound division, is one of, if not the hottest in the sport. It's historically one of my favorite divisions to watch. And the fight, the first round fight, or quarter semifinals, whatever they're calling it, Emmanuel Rodriguez and Jason Maloney put on a good fight. It was a high-action fight. It was a lot tighter, a lot more competitive than I thought it was going to be. I thought Maloney counted really well for himself. I projected a third-round stoppage from Rodriguez. That was my official prediction. I thought Manny Rodriguez was going to simply steamroll his opponent. I thought Maloney was going to fight right into his hands, and he was going to eat a ton of big shots. I did not think he was going to be able to get on the inside and do effective work. I thought every time he came inside, tried to get inside, Rodriguez was going to land big shots. But it was a high-action fight, and Maloney was game. Winning the fight, actually, on one card and dropping it tight on the other two. Look, I don't know how you guys saw the fight. I didn't think the fight was that close in rounds, right? I thought, as the punch number showed, it was competitive, but was mostly dominated by Rodriguez. I thought Rodriguez dominated the early rounds. I thought the Puerto Rican won the first 6 rounds. And then the last half of the fight, there were a lot of close rounds you could have scored either way. I had it 9-3. I think 8-4 is reasonable. When I went back and watched it again today, I had it 8-4. But I had that fight 9-3, 8-4. Watching it live, which is how I like to give my cards. I had it 117, 111, 9 rounds to 3 for Manny Rodriguez. They were close rounds. But Manny landed the cleaner and more effective shots. He did the better work, especially in the first half of the round. And that doesn't mean Maloney didn't do good work, because he did. He did. I think he was doing enough to win some of the rounds here and there, but I don't think he won 5. I definitely don't think he won 7. But let me know what you guys think. How did you guys have that fight scored? I had it 9-3 initially. I watched it again this morning. Had it 8-4. So I had Rodriguez winning clearly, and I think BJ Flores, the announcer, had it that way too. But that doesn't mean we're right. I mean, maybe the judges were right. Maybe the one that scored it for Maloney was right. You tell me what you thought. But I thought Rodriguez won a competitive fight, but a clear decision. I thought he took the first 6 rounds, meaning if he won anything in the second half of the fight, which I felt he won at least 2 rounds. In the last 6, that he won the fight. I thought he put all the early rounds in the bank. What disappointed me is I thought Manny Rodriguez was a potential superstar, and that he could be the guy. Not that I would pick him, but would be the one to give Inoue all types of problems. I thought that was going to be an amazing fight. I thought it was offensive firepower, and we would find out a lot about Inoue's chin and how he reacts. I don't think that now, and I'm still a Manny Rodriguez fan. I think he's a good fighter. He throws really nice punches. He sits down on his punches, uses his leverage. I just think everything he does, Inoue does better. So I don't see how he wins, or even really makes it that competitive. Now, he's a great fighter, so he could win a couple rounds early here and there. But remember, Inoue starts like shot out of a cannon. So you can't even say that, okay, Rodriguez will get off to a quick start, and because they're both fast starters. I'm going to pick Inoue. I'm not sure how I'm going to pick him yet. I'll probably pick him by stoppage, mid-rounds, late rounds. Because Rodriguez looked like he totally gassed in the second half of that fight. And I know Maloney was making it rough, but he did not look good, and especially the last couple of rounds. He was totally shot, and you can see that he was a much better boxer, pure boxer, much more skilled fighter than Maloney. But in the later rounds, it didn't matter because he was totally gassed, and Maloney just worked him. So let me know what you guys think about that, and do you think Manny Rodriguez will be any challenge for Inoue at all? Leave your thoughts about that. Robert Brandt captured a version of the WBA middleweight title in dominating Ryota Murata. Brandt dominated Murata from the opening bell on, taking pretty much every single round. I had it 119-109 in favor of the American. The judges saw it similarly, scoring it 119-109 and 118-110 119-109 twice and 118-110 once. Brandt is now the WBA regular middleweight champion. In a performance that is so impressive over a fairly impressive fighter in Murata, which a lot of people thought was a good fighter. He had a pretty good reputation, a pretty good offensive fighter, and he got dominated. Simply Brandt destroyed him round in, round out. It was outclassing him in a way that most people picked him to lose. This puts him right in the mix at 160. It gives him the regular belt, which is something. But the division is already loaded. Like we've talked about this several times, how loaded the 160-pound division is, and what Brandt did yesterday puts him in the conversation. Look, Triple G was going to fight Murata, assuming Murata won. And I told you on my last show, look, that's not a guarantee. This is going to be a real good fight, and I picked Brandt to win, and he did. I know most people were picking Murata, but Murata's flawed defensively, which you saw. Now that Murata fight not going to happen. Triple G's not going to fight Murata next. It may be Brandt. So does Brandt get that fight? He could, and if he does, I'm not saying officially I would pick him, although I might. That would be a real good fight. Triple G and Robert Brandt would be a real interesting fight. Brandt only lost. He's 24-1. His only loss came at 68. And that's the division it was in the World Boxing Super Series, 168-pound World Boxing Super Series tournament, and that's a weight class he shouldn't have been fighting in. He's just an average-sized middleweight. He's not much different in size than, say, Andrade or Canelo. He's a 160-pounder. He should have never fought at 168, and he lost there, but he's never lost at middleweight. And if he got a fight with Triple G, it would be interesting. And I don't know which way I would lean in a Triple G Brandt fight. But let me know what you think. Do you think this puts him in the mix? Does this catapult him right into the mix with the other top names in the division? Because there's a lot of them. And who would you like to see him fight next? Next, there's more news on this Wilder AJ Eddie Hearn drama that I want to get into. Deontay Wilder says he deserves a 60-40 split in his favor for the Anthony Joshua fight after he defeats Tyson Fury on December 1st. But he'd be willing to accept 50-50 in order to make the fight happen. Eddie Hearn basically left it off, saying no one knows who Deontay Wilder is. If you walk around and ask people who he is, no one's going to know who he is. Well, let's stack this up. And this is all dependent upon Wilder beating Fury. Keep that in mind. Now, I was on the record. You guys can go back and listen to my videos. I've done many videos on this. Back before Wilder made the fight with Fury, when he was in all those negotiations with AJ, I was saying if Wilder wants the AJ fight, he has to make all the concessions, right? 15 million and Wilder and AJ gets 50, you have to take it if you want the fight, right? Because AJ's the bigger name. Okay, so this is not me loving on Wilder or hating on AJ or anything like that. I just speak the truth. Okay, so let's stack this up. And this is assuming Wilder beats Fury. Keep that in mind. This is all dependent upon Wilder beating Fury. Wilder will be the legitimate and lineal heavyweight champ of the world, as well as, of course, the WBC champ. Plus, he will have a better win on his resume, Tyson Fury, than AJ does. That's for a fact. He will also have put together what I'm telling you will be a successful U.S. pay-per-view. A pay-per-view that I'm projecting does between 400,000 and 500,000 buys in the U.S. At $75 a pop, do the math on that. Okay? That's something that AJ had not done and without Wilder will not do in the U.S. AJ doesn't do big numbers in the U.K. I've done many shows on this. Live viewers in Klitschko. Live viewers against Klitschko. He did 600,000 views, live views, against Vlad. Tyson Fury did twice that number when he fought Vlad on HBO. And typically since AJ fought Vlad in his fight since then, to Khan and Parker and those type fights, he did in the range of 300,000 to 400,000 viewers. 300,000 to 400,000 viewers. What I'm telling you is that more people in this country will pay $75 a pop, whatever they charge for the pay-per-view, to watch Wilder fight, then we'll watch AJ for free. Think I'm wrong? Wait for the numbers to come out. Okay? What I'm saying is Anthony Joshua is not a big attraction to the American market. Look, the heavyweight division in the American market was so bad for so long after Holyfield and Tyson and those guys and Ray Mercer and whoever else you want to put in that conversation. It got so bad that the American, outside of hardcores, didn't really have much interest in the heavyweight division. Right? It was about the welterweights, middleweights, and so on. The heavyweight division was an afterthought. And now that this Wilder, America loves to come out and support an American heavyweight. That's Wilder. They really don't care. Like, if the heavyweight title becomes let's say AJ, Fury beats Wilder, AJ beats Fury, Usyk beats them all. And it becomes just that the European, the heavyweight championship of the world runs a European circuit. American fight fans outside of hardcores aren't going to care. Tyson Fury is interesting and he's intriguing and he's got a personality, so he's got a fan base, he's got some Irish blood, so, the Irish fans love their Irish fighters, but American fans don't care about European heavyweight champions of the world. They don't, okay? So, let's look at this. Who does bigger numbers in the UK, in the US? Wilder or AJ? Clearly it's Wilder. Wilder would have the better name on his resume. Wilder would have a legitimate claim to the lineal heavyweight champion of the world and be the legitimate heavyweight champion of the world. Anthony Joshua has none of those things. Okay? If Anthony Joshua wanted the lion's share of the purse, he had that opportunity when his quote was met in full just a few months ago. His promoter turned that down. Those days are over. And this is assuming Wilder beats Fury, which, again, don't assume that for a second, okay? I'm not predicting that, although I haven't made my prediction yet, but this is just working off of Wilder when I beat Fury. When that happens, he is going to get a 50-50 split, or the fight's not going to be made, and the reason he'll get a 50-50 split is because he deserves it. You guys might not like that. I know you're saying, well, Gary, you always say he's the B-side. Well, he's not the B-side after he does a huge pay-per-view and knocks out Tyson Fury and becomes a legitimate heavyweight champion of the world. And everyone in America watches him do that, which they will. This is going to be a big fight. This will be, it's not going to be as big as Canelo and Triple G, but it's going to get casual sports fans into it. And when if he if Wilder beats Fury, it will be by knockout, right? I don't think anyone thinks Wilder's going to go in there and outbox Fury for 12 rounds and take a ho-hum decision, right? That's not going to happen. If Wilder wins, he wins by explosive knockout. Okay? Put that on, a heavyweight with his personality and his punching power. The American fans are going to jump at it, and that's the opportunity that he has here. And yes, if he wins, he will get a 50-50 split with AJ, or the fight's not going to happen. Because he can take a rematch with Fury. There's a two-way rematch clause. He doesn't even need the AJ fight if he wins. Right? But this is all assuming that Wilder does win. And again, the 60-40 thing is just a negotiating tactic, right? It's like you never go into a job offer going with your low ball offer and hoping that the boss offers you more. When AJ said 60, or when Wilder said he wants 60% split in his favor, he knows he wants 50. And I think he showed his hand too much that he's willing to go down to 50 off the bat, which means you could probably get him lower. But, 60 is just, that's my first offer. I go high, you go low. Let's meet in the middle. And I think 50 is reasonable, right? But 60, he knows he's not getting 60, but it's reasonable, right? It's not like he said he wants 80, which you just laughed him off the table. I'm the legitimate heavyweight champion of the world. I did a huge, massive pay-per-view sale. No one's paying $75 a pop to watch Anthony Joshua on live TV. They just aren't. Pay-per-views in the UK are only $20 to $25. So he has to do 3 times that amount of sales to create the same type of revenue that Wilder generates in this one fight. Now, look, Fury is 50-50 dance partner in that fight. A lot of people are going to buy that fight for Fury. But if and when Wilder knocks him out, he's going to be a superstar. And Eddie Hearn's not prepared for that, right? So if Eddie Hearn wanted to take Wilder to the cleaner, so to speak, and cash in on that purse and maximize the split in his fighter's favor, he blew that chance. You can thank your promoter for that, Anthony Joshua. Your promoter, Eddie Hearn, has cost you millions, tens of millions. Let me know what you think. Leave your thoughts, comments below. For Sunday Morning Champion, this is 3D Boxing signing off, saying thank you and God bless.
Enjoy 3D Boxing vlog videos? Show us some love by clicking the like button. Don't miss a tweet, post, story, or video. 3dboxingvlog.com is also on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Hit the subscribe button now to stay inside the ring.